stop. Before you trust anyone too deeply, listen carefully. There are people walking around you who are not who they seem. Their intentions are hidden, their hearts are dark, and if you don't recognize the signs, you could be opening doors to destruction. Today, I will reveal 5 evident signs that a demonic person is next to you, so you can protect yourself, your family, and your destiny. Pay close attention, because ignorance could cost you more than you think. You see, the first sign is subtle, yet it hits you the hardest if you don't notice it early. I'm talking about how a demonic person drains your energy and throws your emotions into chaos. It's not always loud or obvious. Sometimes you're just around them for a short while, but afterward you feel off. Maybe your mind feels clouded, or suddenly your patience is gone, even with people you love. Maybe your sleep is disturbed, or you're carrying a heaviness you can't explain. That heaviness isn't coincidence. That fatigue, that constant unease, that emotional turbulence, it's a warning. Your energy is being stolen, your spirit is being unsettled. And here's the truth, these people feed on that chaos. They thrive when you doubt yourself, when your confidence wavers, when your heart feels anxious or insecure. They don't always attack openly. Often their presence alone is enough to manipulate your energy. One moment you're fine. The next, you feel exhausted for no reason. You might ask yourself, why am I suddenly so tense? Or, why does my chest feel tight around this person? That's the sign. Pay attention to it. What's worse is that many people dismiss this as stress or personality differences or even bad luck. But when it's persistent, when the same people always leave you feeling empty, that's not normal. You're being influenced on a spiritual level. Think about it. If someone is constantly around and you feel like you're losing yourself, that's not just coincidence. Your life is meant to flow with clarity, with peace, with energy that lifts you higher. But this person, they interrupt that natural flow. They bring tension where there should be calm. They bring confusion where there should be clarity. And here's the hardest part. Sometimes you can't explain why you feel this way. They smile, they talk, they seem charming or helpful. But after a conversation or an encounter, you feel tired, anxious, even hollow. That's the demonic influence at work. It's not always about what they say. It's about the energy they emit, the chaos they carry, the disturbance they leave behind. You must learn to trust your intuition. Your body feels what your mind often ignores. If you consistently feel drained around someone, that's not your imagination. It's a warning signal your spirit is sending you. You don't have to understand it fully yet, and you don't have to confront them right away. But recognize it, acknowledge it, and protect yourself. Energy is your most valuable currency. Guard it. You must become aware of who steals it and who nourishes it. The moment you start noticing this pattern, you reclaim control over your life. Remember, energy never lies, and your feelings are never accidental. Protect them, respect them, and let them guide you towards safety and truth. The second sign is one that many people miss because it's disguised as something positive. It comes in the form of manipulation wrapped in helpfulness. At first glance, it seems harmless, maybe even kind. They offer advice, they lend a hand, they appear concerned about your well-being. But if you pay close attention, you start to notice a pattern. Their help often comes with strings attached. It's not really about you, it's about control. A demonic person doesn't give freely, they give strategically. Every action is calculated to create dependence, to put you in a position where you feel obligated, where your choices are subtly influenced by their presence. You might think they're just being generous, but generosity that leaves you feeling trapped or indebted is not true generosity. True guidance lifts you, empowers you, and strengthens your independence. A demonic person does the opposite. They make you question yourself. They make you second-guess your decisions. They create situations where you feel you need them to succeed or survive. Watch for this closely because it doesn't always look sinister. Often it's charming, persuasive, and even flattering. That's how they gain trust. They speak in a way that makes you feel understood, yet every word is a subtle push toward the path they want you to follow. And here's what's tricky. Sometimes you don't notice it until it's too late. You start making choices that feel right on the surface, but deep inside, you sense something is off. You feel manipulated, controlled, or confined. But you can't put your finger on why. That's the demonic strategy. It's slow, it's patient, and it's precise. They want to draw you in gradually so that you are attached, reliant, and blind to the chains forming around you. The danger lies not just in the action itself, but in the emotional and spiritual debt they create. Every favor, every piece of advice, every seemingly helpful gesture becomes a tool for influence. You might feel guilty for resisting them, or fearful of disappointing them, and that fear becomes their power. This is how they dominate without confrontation, how they take control without overt aggression. So, how do you protect yourself? Start by questioning intentions, not just actions. Ask yourself, is this advice for my benefit, or does it subtly shift me toward their desires? Does their help leave me freer, stronger, and more aligned with my values, or does it leave me confused, dependent, and vulnerable? Trust your inner voice. It's far wiser than your mind when it comes to recognizing hidden motives. Remember, not everyone who reaches out to you wants to help you. Some are building influence, testing boundaries, and creating leverage over your life. Learning to see this early is crucial, because it is in these small, seemingly harmless moments that the greatest spiritual attacks begin. Protect yourself, honor your independence, and never let charm or helpfulness blind you to truth. The third sign you must watch for is persistent lies and deception. This is one of the clearest indicators that a demonic person is near, yet it is often ignored because it's subtle and insidious. They rarely admit the truth fully, and when they speak, every word is designed to confuse, manipulate, or control. At first it may seem harmless, small exaggerations, little half-truths, but over time, those small lies grow into a web that traps you without you even realizing it. They twist facts, they omit crucial details, and they distort reality in ways that make you doubt your own perception. That doubt, that uncertainty, is exactly what they want. You may catch yourself thinking, am I imagining things? Did that really happen the way I saw it? That's the power of their deception. It undermines your confidence and makes you question your own mind. They don't need to shout, they don't need to threaten you directly. Their lies are quiet, strategic, and relentless. They create an atmosphere where you're constantly second-guessing yourself, trying to reconcile what you know with what they say. And the more you try to rationalize, the deeper you fall into their influence. But it's not just the lies themselves, it's the pattern that matters. One lie can be dismissed, one misstatement can be excused, but when deceit is persistent, when it becomes a defining feature of someone's words and actions, that's a warning you cannot ignore. Your spirit senses it before your mind does. You may feel uneasy, suspicious, or even fearful around this person without fully understanding why. That feeling is real, and it's a signal to pay attention. Deception is not just about misinformation, it's about control. A demonic person uses lies to manipulate outcomes, to trap you in situations that benefit them, to make you reliant on their version of reality. Every story they tell, every omission, every half-truth is a calculated move to steer your decisions, to weaken your discernment, and to create an illusion that serves their purpose. They prey on your trust, on your desire to see the good in people, on your willingness to believe that everyone is honest until proven otherwise. So how do you defend yourself? Start by trusting your instincts and observing patterns rather than isolated incidents. Notice inconsistencies, pay attention to how you feel after interactions, and recognize that constant confusion is not accidental. When someone's words consistently leave you doubtful or disoriented, that is a red flag. Distance yourself from the influence before the lies become your reality. Remember, truth is the foundation of safety. Deception erodes that foundation and leaves you vulnerable, lost, and powerless. The moment you start to see patterns of dishonesty, act immediately to protect your energy, your decisions, and your life. Don't rationalize, don't excuse. It's a warning, and warnings are never random. The fourth sign is one that becomes impossible to ignore once you understand it, yet so many people dismiss it as coincidence or bad luck. I'm talking about the constant negative influence that follows a demonic person wherever they go. Their presence isn't neutral. It disrupts your life in ways that you may not immediately connect to them. Your relationships, your work, your opportunities, even your sense of peace, begin to suffer when they are nearby. Things that used to run smoothly suddenly become complicated. Projects stall, people misunderstand you, tension builds where it never existed before. If this pattern repeats itself consistently, it's not chance. It's a warning. You might notice it slowly at first. A deal falls through, a friendship frays, a sudden argument erupts out of nowhere. Then you realize over time that these events aren't random. They follow the rhythm of their presence. They bring chaos not necessarily through action alone, but through the energy they emit. Some people leave a room lighter, uplifting your spirit. Some people leave it heavier, weighing on your heart and mind. A demonic person belongs to the latter, and you feel it, even if you can't explain why. There's a tension in the air, a subtle unease, a disturbance that gnaws at your clarity. What's particularly dangerous is that they are often charming or persuasive at the surface level. You may even feel drawn to them at first, not noticing that their influence gradually changes the environment around you. They feed on the disruptions they cause. Every conflict they stir, every opportunity they subtly sabotage, strengthens their control over the space around them. And if you're not careful, you start to internalize it. You may think, why am I failing so much? Or, why does everything feel harder now? You start questioning yourself, your decisions, your worth, and that is exactly what they want. The key here is pattern recognition. One setback, one problem, one misunderstanding can happen to anyone. But when trouble consistently follows a person, when every interaction seems to drain your peace and derail your progress, it's no longer coincidence, it's influence. Their energy is dark, and it infiltrates everything it touches. You may try to rationalize it, but your spirit knows the truth before your mind can. So how do you respond? Distance, awareness, boundaries. Protect yourself from patterns of negativity that do not belong to you. You do not need to confront every action. You simply need to recognize the cause and act in your best interest. Avoid environments and people who repeatedly pull you into chaos, because prolonged exposure can distort your path, your judgment, and even your destiny. Remember, energy always leaves a trace. When someone's presence consistently brings negativity into your life, it is a clear message. Protect yourself, preserve your peace, and do not allow this influence to continue. Your life is too precious to be constantly disturbed by forces that do not have your growth or well-being in mind. The fifth sign is one that can be easy to admire at first, but it hides danger beneath a beautiful disguise. I'm talking about excessive charm, hypnotic persuasion, and the kind of influence that captivates you before you even realize it. A demonic person often appears magnetic, charismatic, and deeply persuasive. They know how to make you feel special, understood, and seen. Their words can feel like music, their presence like light, but that charm is a weapon, and it's designed to pull you closer so they can control your actions and decisions. You may meet someone who seems almost perfect at first glance. They listen well, they make you laugh, they seem to intuitively know what you need. And in those moments, it's easy to let your guard down. But watch closely. If you feel that you are being subtly influenced, that your decisions shift in ways that benefit them rather than you, that charm is no longer harmless. A demonic person uses attraction and fascination as a tool. They create a trance-like effect where you begin to prioritize their desires over your own, where you start to doubt your instincts, where your boundaries begin to blur. The danger lies not in their charisma itself, but in the imbalance it creates. You may feel drawn to them, excited by them, or even grateful for their attention. But if you notice that the more you engage with them, the more you compromise your values, the more you feel trapped in their orbit, that is the warning. Charm becomes manipulation when it overrides your free will, when it replaces your discernment with fascination, when it makes you question your own judgment. This is why it's crucial to learn the difference between genuine connection and hypnotic persuasion. Genuine connection uplifts, inspires, and strengthens you, even if the other person is strong, confident, or magnetic. A demonic person's influence feels intoxicating at first, but leaves you weakened, confused, and emotionally dependent. They are masters of illusion, turning attraction into a trap, making you think that being close to them is a privilege while slowly undermining your independence. You might try to rationalize it. They're just really persuasive. Or, I enjoy being around them. But pay attention to the subtle signs. Do you feel anxious when they disagree? Do you feel compelled to act in ways that make you uncomfortable just to maintain their approval? Are you constantly thinking about their opinions instead of trusting your own? These are red flags that the charm you admire is actually a chain you don't yet see. So protect yourself. Respect your intuition, observe patterns, and never allow attraction to override judgment. True influence strengthens your life, true guidance elevates your spirit, and true friendship never manipulates or hypnotizes. When charm becomes controlling, when persuasion erases boundaries, that is your signal to step back and reclaim your power. Remember, charm can be beautiful, but beauty does not always equal goodness. Recognize it, respect it, and never let fascination blind you to the truth. The sixth and final sign is one that often reveals itself in the way a person reacts to boundaries and spiritual truths. A demonic person cannot tolerate limits. They will push, test, and even disrespect the rules you set for your life, whether they are physical, emotional, or spiritual. When you try to establish boundaries, when you say no, when you protect your energy, when you assert your values, they react with frustration, charm, or subtle pressure. This is not a minor personality quirk. It is a reflection of their inner darkness and a direct attempt to undermine your strength. You will notice that no matter how politely or clearly you set limits, they try to circumvent them. They may use guilt, manipulation, or intimidation to get you to compromise. Sometimes it's subtle. A look, a comment, a question designed to make you doubt your own stance. Other times, it's more overt, repeated violations of your space, your time, or your principles. Either way, the pattern is unmistakable. They are testing to see how far they can push you, and they will continue to do so until they meet resistance strong enough to stop them. What makes this even more dangerous is their reaction to spiritual or moral truths. They cannot abide by what strengthens the spirit, what aligns with truth, or what brings peace. If you practice faith, prayer, meditation, or any form of spiritual discipline, they may mock it, challenge it, or try to dissuade you. They seek to weaken your connection to higher guidance because they know that when you are aligned with truth and spirit, their influence over you diminishes. They want you off balance, disconnected, and vulnerable so that their manipulations can take root. This resistance to boundaries and spiritual truths is a clear signal that you are dealing with a person whose intentions are not aligned with your well-being. They are testing your resilience, probing your limits, and measuring how easily they can erode your principles. A healthy relationship, whether friendship, partnership, or professional, respects boundaries and honors your values. A demonic person cannot do this. They see rules, faith, and self-respect as obstacles to their control, and they will seek every opportunity to undermine them. The key to protecting yourself is vigilance and consistency. Recognize the pattern early. Stand firm in your limits. Do not allow guilt, charm, or pressure to erode your principles. Protect your spiritual practices, your personal space, and your moral compass. These are not weaknesses. They are your shields. A person who repeatedly challenges your boundaries or mocks your spiritual truths is revealing their true nature. They are not an ally. They are a threat, and you must act with clarity and courage. Remember, boundaries are sacred and spiritual alignment is powerful. When someone persistently resists both, it is a warning you cannot ignore. Protect your life, your energy, and your destiny. Stand strong and let nothing compromise your peace or your purpose.